Hey people, it is Saturday the 29th of November, currently 8:10 in the evening, and around 0 degrees Celsius, which is 32 Fahrenheit for any Americans who are watching, wondering what the heck does Celsius mean. I'm on Dundas Street East here in downtown on the east side. Making my way west at the moment, but I'm gonna head south down George Street right here. I'm gonna keep on heading south, maybe along Jarvis as well. Eventually making my way down to Queens Quay. I'm gonna be checking out the new skating rink that just opened down on the waterfront. I think last night the rink opened up for another season here in Toronto of skating. And I think it's open fairly late, so we should be able to catch some skating in action when we get down there. Past a big empty lot here. They tore down the Grand Hotel, which was on this site. And there are plans to build a very tall new residential tower here. But this site has been sitting dormant for a couple of years now. I'm not sure how sales are going for that new tower, considering the condo market has crashed. I'm not sure what they're doing here. Dug up quite a lot of the street here. Oh well, what else is new, right? So I'll take us down to Shooter, and then maybe I'll dip over to Jarvis. It's not too windy tonight, so that's nice. I think the temperature, even with the wind chill, is still 0, so basically there's no wind chill, is what I'm trying to say. Although there is a breeze, though. It's not like there's 0 wind. Alright, we're at Shooter Street. There's Moss Park and the Moss Park Armory. Figured I'd better slow down, otherwise that car would have probably turned right into me if I just kept walking as I was. Yeah, all in all, the weather is not too bad tonight. Much better than last night. It was freezing last night doing a live stream, mainly due to the wind. And we might be in for some snow tomorrow. Remains to be seen how much the city will get. Alright, down a rather boring stretch of Jarvis Street here. So we walk past the Armory. Umbrella. Kind of picking up the pace a little bit here. I have another video planned after I finish recording this one, and I don't want it to be too late. By the time I start recording that one, it's a bit time sensitive. It's crossing Queen. Crazy that November is all but over. I find November always seems to fly by pretty quickly. Whereas a month like February seems to take forever, even though it's shorter than November. Richmond Street. That new condo is looking pretty tall these days. I think it's close to topping out. I've been watching that one rise from my apartment. A good view looking out the window. I don't know if that was human noise or a mechanical noise. I have no idea. The famous Mystic Muffin. Someday I'll try it. I keep meaning to, and I never do. All right, now here's where Jarvis Street starts to get a bit more interesting and a bit more attractive. Coming into Old Town as we make our way south here. We got St. James Park just across the way there. Awesome views of the skyline, including the Sky Tower, which you can see there, looking massively tall now. It is over 100 stories up so far. I think it's around 102 stories maybe. And it's not done yet. The rest of the skyline. Mainly the financial district skyline is what you can see from here. We'll be getting some more awesome views once we get down to Queen's Quay. This is Adelaide Street. Yeah, one of my favorite looks at the financial district is right from here across St. James Park. Most of the time the trees and whatnot cover most of it up, but at this time of year you can actually see the buildings somewhat. And the cathedral, of course, of the same name, St. James. So now we're firmly in Old Town. That's St. Lawrence Hall. That building dates from around 1850. I think as far as large buildings go, that's maybe one of the oldest ones in the city. Of that size, anyway. There are some smaller buildings that are older, but you don't find too many around town left that are that big and that old. Right, crossing King now. Other than some churches, I think, and buildings like Osgoode Hall. Here's the Christmas store. This Christmas store is open all year round though, but obviously this is their prime time. They probably make 95% of their annual sales during November and December. All right, Front Street, St. Lawrence Market neighborhood. There's the Market building and the North Market. Always a beautiful area to walk through, day or night. Winter or summer, doesn't really matter. I'll take us straight down. We're on Lower Jarvis now after having crossed Front Street. I'll take us down to Queens Quay. And man, even though it's not too cold, just the slight breeze blowing in my face makes both my eyes and my nose run. It's probably good that I record these videos facing away from me, because no one wants to see what I look like right now, I think. It's always a struggle to minimize your sniffing when you're recording a video in the wintertime. Otherwise, that's all you'd hear every like 5 or 10 seconds throughout the entire walk. But of course, if you don't sniff, your nose tends to run even more. Just walked under the rail corridor, under the Gardner, catching some more views here. Ooh, let's make this light. Otherwise, I'll be stuck waiting. I just saved myself probably several minutes by jogging across there, otherwise I would have got caught. I've never been to this Loblaws. It looks quite huge. I have a feeling this building will be redeveloped though. All of the high-rise development popping up all around it. It seems ripe for that sort of thing now. including on this side too. Should I? Oh, I don't have time to run across this light, unfortunately. I was just about to break into a sprint. I guess I'll cross here. I can still sprint surprisingly fast when I need to. Press the button, see if that makes any difference. Big freighter there, docked at the sugar refinery, Redpath Sugar Refinery. Some of these freighters are ocean going. Because yes, you can access Toronto Harbour from the ocean through the St. Lawrence Seaway. Yeah, pushing that light the button didn't seem to make the light turn any quicker, but I guess it's there just to make you feel better. The light will change when it's ready to change. When you're down along anywhere close to the Gardiner, almost everything is catered towards automobiles, even if there's tons of pedestrian traffic as well, which there is at certain times of the year, especially in the warm time of year. The waterfront is packed with tens of thousands of people oftentimes, but we're still forced to wait for long light cycles for cars that want to get on and off of the Gardiner Expressway mainly. This is the shared path here I'm using to pass the slower moving people. Alright, walking past the sugar refinery. Nice industrial vibes here. Pretty much the last of the industrial vibes on this part of Queens Quay. There's the LCBO head office and one of their flagship retail locations. And some of these awesome views I was talking about. Financial district once again. I've always loved this angle here. I don't often walk through here at night though. Most of my other videos don't feature all the lights. And Sky Tower once again. And that other tower. Still tallest by far. Sky Tower comes up to the observation levels of the CN Tower, which is still very, very high. And there'll be a restaurant on the top floor of Sky Tower now. It was announced recently. So that'll put it at about the same level as the revolving restaurant at the CN Tower. But Sky Tower's restaurant won't revolve. But in a way, the views might be even better than from the CN Tower, because you'll get a view looking directly north into the financial district if you're into city views. And the lake view will be obviously very nice as well, but you'll also have a view looking to the CN Tower. So you'll have a view of the most prominent structure from another very tall building. Kind of similar to how in New York, some people prefer the view from Rockefeller Plaza, the top of the rock as they call it, because you can actually see the Empire State Building. Whereas if you're on the Empire State Building, obviously you can't see it if you're on it. Matter of fact, last time I was in New York, that's what I did. I went to the top of the rock. And it was also less expensive than the Empire State Building. So that was part of the reason why. The views are just as good, if not better. Maybe not quite as high, but still high enough. And you pay a bit less, and you can look at the Empire State Building. So I thought it was a good plan, and I think it all turned out well. Maybe another time, if I go back to New York, I will do the Empire State Building. All right, we're at the foot of Yonge Street. And on this side, of course, is the lake. That water looks very, very cold. And also was announced recently that the old Toronto Star building will not be demolished as was recently planned. They've decided to hold off on demolition, and this will be turned into a luxury hotel for a time. I'm not sure how long or what hotel brand will be occupying that, but the building will remain standing for the time being, which I'm happy to hear. I'm kind of fond of this old brutalist building. This was one of the first tall buildings constructed on the waterfront back in the early 1970s. And with all the glassy buildings all around it now, it kind of stands out with its brutalist construction. It's not the prettiest building, but I still like it. If it were demolished, though, I think that would be the biggest building ever demolished in Toronto, like in terms of height. Tallest building. Walking along Queens Quay, not too busy down here right now. Once we get closer to the Rink, though, maybe we'll see a bit more activity. Walking past the Westin Hotel. There's actually a restaurant on top of one of the buildings here also. I think it revolved at one time. I'm not sure if it still does. Of course, it's not nearly as tall. Crossing Bay Street. I think last time I recorded along here, the weather was still kind of summer-like, and it was packed with people. We had nice summer-like temperatures right into October this year. Some office complexes, all the taller condos. This is the South Core area. And this is where you can enter the path also, right across the street there. Which is a bunch of tunnels, underground concourses, and above ground concourses all connected together. And you can walk indoors basically from here all the way up to past Yonge and Dundas to the atrium on Bay. Alright, we're getting closer. Here's York Street. the Queens Quay terminal. There's a little small shopping center inside there on the main level. I guess it's a couple levels, and then above that are residences. Rather expensive places to live. I think we're getting close. I'll have to come back another time and check that place out. It's like a little museum of Toronto TV history. Mr. Dress Up to Degrassi. They have some exhibits inside with some of the classic shows that were produced here in Toronto. Seeing some signs of life. The Rink is just right up ahead. It's the Harbourfront Centre. This is Lower Simcoe Street. Yeah, this lady has the right idea. Let's not just stand there like a doofus when there's no reason to. I think we're going to encounter some copyright music here possibly, but I should be able to fix that in editing later. Or maybe we'll get lucky and it won't be anything copyright. And there it is. So I think this is the Winterfest, as they call it. Some snow, not sure where they got that. They must have, oh, it's probably from the ice over here. When they Zamboni the ice, they probably dumped the snow there. Skate by the lake. And it looks very, very nice. I remember there used to be a pond here, and then they did away with it and installed a plaza, which in the summertime has misting fountains, which is nice, but the little pond I think was definitely better. But at least now the rink is back. The rink was gone for a while, and then they brought it back again, so they're doing some things right, and it looks good. Very busy, very happy. And I think today the skating rink at Nathan Phillips Square also opened up, so I'm going to be checking that out, I think, right after I end this video. That's the plan. So I hope you enjoyed the walk. Starting from the east side of downtown, Dundas Street East. Took a walk along there, then south down Jarvis, through St. Lawrence Market, down the Queens Quay, along Queens Quay, over here to check out the Rink on the waterfront, skate by the lake, to Winterfest. I think it's called Winterfest, I'm not sure. But in any case, leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the walk. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell, that way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store, or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under Quay Continuum. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue.